Welcome back everybody, and welcome to another video. I'm actually pretty excited about this one because I'm working on my car. For those of you who are new or don't know, this is a 98 Impreza Coupe 2-door, and I have an EG33 H6 swap into it, turbo. It's gonna be a fun car. I'm currently in the process of trying to put the engine back together. Got it machined, have forged internals. It's gonna be a good build. But I've been fighting engine bearings, so that has been on hold. But I think I finally have it figured out. I'm talking to bearing companies, and hopefully we can get that all sorted out. But today we're gonna be working on the fuel system. So let's go over and I'll tell you what I got going. So what we have here are two AEM 340 fuel pumps. You might be asking why we have two of them. Well, once you get past a certain amount of horsepower, you need to be adding a lot more fuel into the car. So people can run these in stages to where, hey, 90% of the time you're running on a single pump, and that will do fine. But as soon as you get into boost or the higher RPMs, you can make it so this second pump comes on. That way you always have plenty of fuel pressure. There are different ways that you can do this. I'm at running a standalone, and I have a relay wired in so that I can tell the ECU, hey, after this RPM, second pump comes on. Other ways you can do it are run power and ground to it and have it controlled by a pressure switch. So hey, when the sensor sees this amount of pressure, it will kick on the second pump. A lot of you guys might know that I like to do things my way. Of course, you can go buy hangers that are ready for two pumps, but you can also build your own. So that is what I'm going to be doing here. So things you're going to need to build your own are some type of Y. That way you have two pumps going into one line. I'm going to be adding in a one-way valve. That way, while one pump is running, it's not going to be backfeeding through the other pump. I hear that they have check valves inside of them, but I've also heard that they don't always work very good. So I decided to just do a mechanical one, not have to worry about the pump one. And then you're going to need a way to run wires to your second pump. So here's a fitting that you drill a hole into the top of your fuel pump hanger. You can run the wires through. As you tighten this down, it'll clamp the wires to make it so they won't leak. And then you clamp this down and make it so it doesn't leak, and it has O-rings, and that is how those work. So let's go over to the car and see where the pump is. So those of you that are familiar with Subarus, the pump is always in the back here, or sometimes it is under the passenger seat on other models. But here on the Impreza, the older Imprezas, they are behind the seat here. You'll have to take out the carpet and the floorboard and everything. So it's just gonna be held, the cover is gonna have 4 screws, and then there's gonna be nuts or bolts holding on the actual hanger assembly. So take those off, and then I can show you guys what's underneath. All right, got the cover off. Here you have your fuel hanger. You have your electrical, of course, to the pump. Then you'll have a return line, a feed line, a return line, which the feed line is going to be pressurized, so it'll have some kind of special fitting. The return line's not, so it'll just be a regular clamp. And then you have the evap line. So take all those off. Looks like there are 5 or 6 little nuts to pull off, and then you can pull it out. So for those of you who have never seen a fuel hanger before, this is pretty much what they usually look like. They can different of course with vehicles, but here you have the fuel pump. This is what you call the fuel filter or sock. Filters out crap in the tank. Here you have return line, and then you have your fuel sender unit, which this has a potentiometer in it. As it goes up, and that's what makes your fuel gauge go up in your dash. So pretty simple design. So what we're going to be doing is taking this fuel pump off and then figuring out how to connect both of these onto here so that they are at the same level as this one, but they can create more flow. So I got the old pump off, and I've been debating on how I want to do this, because I could cut this off and make a fancy new bracket where both of them sit in there how they're supposed to and go that route. But I kind of want to do this for also the people that maybe don't have a welder available or things like that, or don't have the ability to build a custom bracket. So I think I have a way. So on bottom of these tanks, there's this little tab where the filter sits on, and it just keeps it on and aligns it. I think I'm going to drill 2 small holes into this hanger here that is the size of that little tab. Do one on each side. That gives just enough room for them to sit on like that, and have room for both pumps. And then I can clamp them on from behind, and this should work. So I think I'm going to try that, and if that doesn't work and I don't feel comfortable with it, because again, this is my car, I don't want to do a janky setup, but I want to make it realistic for pretty much everyone out there who wants to build their own dual setup. So I'll try that, and then we'll see how it goes. Alright, this is where we're at. I'm liking how it's going so far. Seems to be working out how I want. So next we're actually gonna have to trim this down, because here we have a Y fitting with our check valve. So somewhere around here we're gonna have to cut, which I have a line cutting tool, and then I'm also gonna try and barb it on the end. I have a flare kit over here. I can try and do a little barb on, that way it doesn't slide off, and then should be able to plumb them into the hard line. Okay, here's a little update of where I'm at. I have the hoses all figured out. Here we have the secondary pump with the check valve, and then the primary pump. Here we have the fitting going through the housing. One thing to be aware of here is make sure you don't put it where there's going to be hoses or underneath where there's things in the way. This I figured was the best option, just because over here you have these hoses, and so you can't put it here. And then here you have this housing, or this bracket, that you have to think about, and then of course the stock electrical wiring. So right here, worked good. Seems like it's on there good. Should seal. I wish I would have came a hair up more, because I'm rubbing on this electrical fitting here, but it worked. Got it tight. Should be good to go. So let's throw the pumps on, and then we can start worrying about wiring. Well, we have it put together. As you can see, I had some stainless steel zip ties I used just to kind of hold everything together. They're not like super tight, but just kind of make sure it doesn't come off. And then the downward pressure from the hoses are pushing the pumps down into the little holes, so they don't come up at all. So should work. Pretty happy with how it came out. All I have to do is run those through a wiring plug. I'm going to add more wires to this lengthwise, and then I'm actually going to put a plug on the end just so I can plug it in and out when I want to. But yeah, all done. All I have to do is throw it back in and should be good to go. You'll at least have your primary fuel pump ready to go, and then as soon as you wire in your second one, that should be good to go. So not too shabby. Well guys, I think this is where I'm going to end this one. Just wanted to do a short DIY video just showing you guys another way that you can do a dual pump setup without buying an expensive radium one or others. They work, of course, but it's not rocket science. It's just two pumps sitting in the tank. So of course you can do it yourself pretty easy. Just slowly hacking away at this thing, waiting for my bearings, and then I want to do an assembly for the engine video, but have to get a few things squared away, going as fast as I can. But that's the name of the game with project cars. So gonna be more videos coming. Gonna start the wiring harness on the truck, so that is gonna be exciting because that's really all we need before we can drive it legally on the road is lights. So I want to get those hooked up, and then at least we could take it into town and have some fun with it. So keep your eyes open for that video. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'm actually monetized now, so that's exciting. If you might be seeing some ads, and that's why. So thank you guys for all the support and subscribers. Takes a lot to get monetized, and it's been a goal of mine for a couple years now, and I finally hit it. So thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the comments, the suggestions. I appreciate all of them. But I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.